Okay, folks, it's a bright sunny day today. They said it was going to be cold, but the sun's really warm. But let's get stuck in. We've got a piece of dark humour regarding COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. It's really ripping through Sydney and I think the rest of New South Wales, but it's mainly Sydney that's got the problems. I just thought I'd make a dark piece, trying to be funny without going overboard. Sometimes it's the only way to deal with something that's so shitty is to make fun of it. But it's a serious issue we have. Our numbers dropped, as in the total numbers of people who got infected, who've been tested. But basically, we still have too many people who are infected and in the community, infected in the community, and we've got to get that down to zero, say the authorities. So we've got to drop it down to zero somehow. But what is this thing that reminds me of COVID? It is Delta Goodrem, a book. Delta is the name not just of Delta Goodrem, but the strain of COVID that's ripping through our country, through Australia, especially mostly Sydney, and also Melbourne have been reinfected. So Delta. So I always think of now, I don't think of Delta Goodrem, I think of the fucking disease. I'm not a Delta Goodrem fan, folks. I just bought this because it reminds me of COVID-19, the name. So I don't like her music. I find it really, really, really boring. But I just like the name because it reminds me of what we're fighting. And I try to keep a sense of humour, folks. So Delta Goodrem, Delta the COVID-19 virus. Stupid coronavirus. I'm trying to be funny, folks. I know it's a serious issue and people have died and people are violently ill on ventilators and in the hospital in general. So we've got to think of those people who are really, 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 that looks shit, who are really less fortunate than ourselves, who've ended up in hospital. Really sad. And those people who are self-isolating as well, which wouldn't be much fun by yourself, especially when you don't have doctors and nurses. That's one of the things I prefer about being in hospital with COVID, would be to have professionals around. But it's obviously for the more serious cases. And yeah. Fortunately, I've been vaccinated just before the beginning of this campaign, this problem, not campaign, although you could call it a campaign, you could call it the COVID campaign. Since when did diseases start having campaigns? Well, you could say this is a first. Now that looks really quite interesting. I think we could use that. So, Delta, the COVID-19 strain, could be the first disease to ever have what could be called a campaign to fucking infect and destroy people and destroy businesses and lives, livelihoods, whatever. It's there to destroy. It just feels like it's got its own fucking feeling and personality, but I know it doesn't, or should. Or do diseases actually have feelings? I wonder if they do. If any kind of simple life forms like COVID actually have feelings, actually have some kind of agency. I just don't know, folks. It's an interesting question. Maybe, I don't know, could you call it an existential question regarding low lives like COVID? Do they have feelings? Do they have anything like that? Or are they just totally autonomous? Or like they just go automatically around. They don't have any. It's like the COVID has just been mutating and mutating, like it knows we're trying to kill it. And really, it's an interesting question to ask. Not that we should care about whether this disease has feelings. Surely it doesn't have feelings. I was wondering, we're going to enlarge it maybe. I just don't know. It's an interesting existential question. Does COVID have feelings? Fuck me dead. I'm pretty sure human beings, even if COVID did have feelings, we humans are a high life form, the highest life form. And basically we have feelings and it's us that matters, not COVID. COVID can go fuck itself and it can die because we want to kill it. We have to kill it for our own survival. Wondering where the centre of this job is going to be. Going there for some reason. But yeah, we want to kill this disease, and it's not an easy thing to manage with not having enough people getting vaccinated. We need more people to get up and get vaccinated. You know, you're more likely to die in a car accident. You're more likely to have problems or maybe die taking the contraceptive pill. It's better to get vaxxed than to be sorry and get the illness. We can't play tippy-toes forever because we're having a lot of trouble with this lockdown trying to control the spread. We can't control it just by playing tippy-toes like this. I mean, the thing is, folks, you got to ask this question. Do you want to wear masks in the heat of summer? Do you want to wear masks in places where it's hot and stuffy? On some public transport? Do you want to go into lockdown like we are now and lose your job? Lose your income, end up on the dole, not have enough to live on? Do you really want that, folks? Do you really, really want to be unemployed or underemployed? There's a lot of questions. Do you want to lose your house because you can't afford the mortgage? So, you know, the thing is, you've got to ask these questions. If you get vaccinated, it's a lot easier. You know, you don't have to wear, in the long term, you won't have to wear masks. You won't have to be in lockdown all the time. You might get some side effects with it, but the risk of side effects is better than catching COVID. You've got to consider that, folks. Yes, there are dangers involved. Yes, people have died of blood clots with AstraZeneca, but AstraZeneca isn't that bad, generally speaking, because the blood clots are rare, folks. As I said, you're more likely to die in a car accident or maybe have problems with the contraceptive pill than you are getting this jab. The benefits outweigh the negative. Anyway, Delta Goodrem, she looks interesting in this. I think now we can call this Delta quits.